And we are
Hello,
live.
everybody. Welcome back. We're back. Andy Humphrey, Joe Leyland. This is Jeff Parles, Overtime Live podcast number 2. Guys, we failed to make one of these for a month, but
Well, Jeff, tell everybody where you've been at. Share a little bit of experience.
I have not been here in the U.S. I was in Italy for a month. Good reason. The internet was garbage, so that's why we have not been able to have anything over here.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! All right, I gotta turn off the viewing again. As remember, I did that last time too, guys. Forgot to turn off the volume on the live stream.
Oh, very nice.
Oh yeah.
So
Hey, I struggled getting into this chat, so.
yeah, I know that's the one thing that was not good for Mr. Leyland here. One thing is the screen changed at all away from me?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good then. So the big event has been going on. Andy, I think it's a cup of some sort that's been going on this past month.
Yeah, it's
Big
been
cup.
the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
The Stanley Cup.
Lord Stanley.
Gotta love the Stanley Cup. But well, we actually while we were gone, we did miss the Stanley Cup. We missed the NBA Finals.
Mm.
Didn't miss too much in either of those series.
Well, I will make this comment. I saw a grand total of 0 minutes of both series. But,
Oh wow.
well, it's 3 in the morning over there, Hump.
Okay.
But I will say this. I know some Italians over there that I met who got up at 3 in the morning and watched all of Game 5 of the NBA Finals.
Bellinelli! The pride and joy of Italy! They love him!
They love Gallinari over there, I'll say that.
Oh, Gallinari.
No love for Bellinelli?
I love Gallinari.
They gotta love Bellinelli too.
We wasted for
Better on their video game.
Yeah. Good jumper.
Well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with Mr. Bellinelli here, guys? But
We love Mark.
Nothing's wrong. We're saying that everything is right.
We love Mark.
well, let's say this: the NBA Finals were a beatdown. Spurs obviously in 5. The Stanley Cup Finals were a closer 5, but the Kings still handled the Rangers in relatively easy fashion.
The NHL series was a whole lot better than.
Well, yeah, with 3 overtime games.
Got a game-winning goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alec Martinez in
Series-winning goal.
both of them. So the Western Conference and the Stanley Cup, Alec Martinez getting it done. But let's go to the World Cup because that I was able to watch while I was in Italy, in the soccer-rich country that has now failed to make it out of the group stage in back-to-back World Cups now.
Woo! Shocking.
You look at it, let's just progress through what has happened so far. We're at the round of 8 starting tomorrow, the quarters of Germany, France, Brazil, Colombia. Andy, I'm going to say this. I want to look at that second matchup of Colombia and Brazil. I don't think there's been a team in this tournament that has looked better than Colombia so far.
No.
France?
France is the only other team. France, the argument you can make for them is they've dominated every minute they've played. Every single game. And they held possession unbelievably. And they're the only European team that's really made a ton of damage in my mind.
I'll say this. The one thing I will say, you look at the UEFA teams, they kind of remind me of the Big Ten so far.
You love the Big Ten.
Well, okay, but let's take a step back, though. There's still quite a few UEFA teams left in this. There's 3.
Well, yeah, but remember,
4.
Andy, you're
There's
starting
4.
with what are you starting with?
4.
13?
There's 4.
There's 4.
Yeah, Belgium, France,
Belgium, Germany, France,
and the Dutch.
and the Dutch. Okay.
There'll be at least 1 remaining. I expect there to be 3 remaining come the semifinals, personally. But, even with that, just as a whole, like Did any of us see Spain going out the way they did?
No.
Well, considering they're my champions, I'm going to say no.
Andy, you had Brazil, right?
I had Brazil.
Yeah, I had Brazil also. But I'll say this: of the 8 teams left, Andy, I don't think of all of them, I would, other than Costa Rica, and Costa Rica's been pretty darn impressive themselves. I think Brazil has looked the worst of everybody else.
You can argue that Germany's had a couple of bad games, as well as
No, you can argue that Argentina's also looked just as bad, and you can argue that really with Belgium. They both just had easier groups. The thing about Brazil
the thing about Belgium is that they do 70 minutes of just holding everything scoreless, and then all of a sudden they'll start to win. And as long as you get to the winning part of that, there's really no. I mean, who cares how you played the first part of the game? Just win.
And that's valid, but can anybody say a signature victory for this Belgium core? There's never been a signature victory with these players on the field, and it very well could be coming in this tournament, but it's kind of hard to say that. Brazil's, everybody's kind of doubting on them. They actually played in a very tough group. Other than Cameroon was horrific, Mexico was fantastic. Very well could have knocked out the Dutch, who some people are saying the best tournament. And then Croatia was also a very good team in that thing. And then Chile is a South American team. Every South American team's having success, and they win in penalties. So I don't think Brazil's looked as bad as everybody has said.
I'll say this: you look at. I'll give you that Group A ended up being easily one of the 3 best groups in this field.
Yeah.
For me, it ended up being Group D.
Yeah.
Which, of course, it makes sense that the Costa Rica is the team that won that.
Yeah.
That's the most baffling result of the World Cup.
I would say the 2 most baffling results of this World Cup so far was, yes, Costa Rica winning Group D makes no sense. No. And in the fashion that they did it, they outplayed Italy when Italy was clearly playing for a draw. Then the other ones for me, surprising wise, the fact that Spain got massacred the way they did was just shocking for me.
Yeah, they were just tired.
It doesn't. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
It is very shocking, but also if you just kind of looked at the players, they were just exhausted. People don't understand the grind that they have through this season. It's a long season playing when you're going super far in the UEFA Champions League, far in the Spanish Premier League. There's a lot of work and grind, and Iniesta did not look like himself. Xabi Alonso did not look like himself. Nobody really did on that team.
Especially Iker Casillas. I mean,
Casillas was terrible.
That he was in going into that Champions League final, he was lucky to win that one, and everything revolving around that. He wasn't sharp on communicating with his defense or anything like that. And yeah, you're right, Iniesta. I personally don't think Iniesta is that great of a player. I think we are overrating him because of that game-winning goal 4 years ago. I think we're overrating him because of that. They ranked him as the 3rd best player in the cup.
Oh no, not anymore. At this point in his career, no.
At this point,
what he has done, I think he's been one of the best midfielders in the last 5 years.
Oh, okay.
I think you have to give him that. No, for this tournament, there's no way.
There's no way.
I'll say this: you for me. Even though I called it, the fact that Algeria still took Germany to the brink like they did in the round of 16, to me was even though I said that Germany was going to struggle, I expected Germany to score struggle to score but have good opportunities and score.
I don't think Germany wins tomorrow.
You think the French beat Germany, Joe?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. I think the only team that has the best shot to beat Germany at this point is France. Because if Brazil advances or Colombia advances, I think they have no chance against Germany.
I see Germany as very vulnerable for 2 main reasons. Their back 4 is very slow. I'm forgetting the guy's name. Who was the Algeria's forward? Like Solani or something? He was running past them. Mertesacker has no pace. And other than Mueller, they don't really have any guys that are goal scorers.
Well,
they're incredibly missing Marco Reus.
You do have Miroslav Klose, who for me
it was not very
Are you going to trust
durable.
him? I don't have faith in Klose at this point in his career.
Let's put it this way.
I think as a substitute, he's well suited. You can bring him on in those situations. He's still got that talent.
For me, the fact that he was not put in the game at all against Algeria was just ridiculous for me. The guy, even though he can as Andy said, he's right. He's not durable. He can't play a whole 90. No way. But you can put him in the 65th minute. You can let's say you go extra time. He can play 55 minutes.
That's true, but at this point, I just don't know.
For Germany, the one thing for me, I have not been impressed with Germany as much as some people have. No. Obviously, Joe has not been. Andy, I don't think, from the way you're saying it, I don't think you've been overly impressed with anyone so far in this field.
There really hasn't been a team that has really put together a performance saying, we are the best team here and we don't care what anybody else says.
If you just take the name label, just the trade or what you think of the label, has Colombia not? What has Colombia not done? We just think of Colombia and we're like, oh, they're still missing Falcao, they're still missing this. But what they've played on the field, they've been the best team. They haven't really shown any flaws.
I would agree with you. Of all the teams out there, I think they've looked the best. But again, the lack of experience card gets played, I think, more in the World Cup more than any other major event out there. For me, I would be tomorrow. I think Colombia is going to beat Brazil handily tomorrow.
What, handedly?
Handily, yes. I really don't. For me, I know Brazil. I know what you said earlier, Joe. With Brazil, they did play Mexico. They could have beat 3-0 if Ochoa didn't stand on his head.
Exactly.
Very easily. But Chile had them beat.
Chile's a fantastic team, though.
No, I know that. Chile is one of the 10 best teams in the world. But Colombia is one of the 5 best teams in the world.
That's true. And it's weird because I'm arguing the two sides, but I think these are the 2 best teams in the Cup playing tomorrow. I think that
Colombia and Brazil are the 2 best teams left.
I think that is because I'm also factoring in the South American advantage because I think it trumps anything really in this Cup. I don't think a European team's winning. Argentina has not impressed me enough. You look at Brazil; they've shown talent. The thing that scares me, and he came up huge last game though, is Julio Cesar.
Yeah, he bailed them out.
I don't have faith in him. He bailed him out last game, but oh well.
Andy, let's get into some picks. Let's get into some picks for tomorrow, and then we'll actually go look at the other side of the bracket because we've really only talked slightly about Brazil and Colombia. We haven't even mentioned Mr. Rodriguez yet, who's been absolutely dominant in this.
Oh my gosh, he's been fantastic
for Colombia. Let's start tomorrow. Tomorrow, folks, the ESPN has decided to have the hot dog eating contest be on ESPN instead of the World Cup at noon.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh wait, the World Cup's on ABC though.
No, it's on ESPN2 tomorrow.
Wait, are you serious?
What?
Yeah, how could I make that up?
Well, let's be honest here. Joey Chestnut is going for how many in a row?
Joey Chestnut's going to eat 80 tomorrow.
Oh, he's going to
I like watching Neymar a little more than Joey Chestnut.
Sorry. Well, no, it's only the France-Germany game is on ESPN2. Neymar is on ESPN tomorrow. This is a noon. Germany-France is a noon Eastern, 11 Central a.m. Kickoff. Is that what you would call it, Andy? A kickoff?
Kickoff, yeah. I always like watching the World Cup because they are very punctual.
Yeah, they don't start games like
they start right at the dot, 11 a.m. Right there.
So Andy, France, Germany. I won't be
watching any of these games tomorrow.
Well, what time's your broadcast tomorrow?
Well, 6, but I'm driving back to Dallas.
You can listen to it on the radio.
Oh, that's what I'll do. I'm not going to watch.
So who do you got tomorrow?
Not a great game that translates on the radio, though, I feel.
I've actually listened to the radio quite a few times during this World Cup.
I've
listened to quite a few of the games. JP Delcamera has been a buddy to me, and he is great at it. And he's got Tommy. He's got Smits. He's got Smits. He's got a lot of pace there.
So Andy, who do you got? France, Germany. Who do you got?
France, Germany. I got Germany.
Joe, you pick France.
2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
Give me the Germans. Give me the Germans in penalty kicks.
In penalty, ooh.
Give me the Germans. Joe, as I showed you the other day, my picks for this round of the World Cup were almost as good as anything I could have possibly picked. I showed you those too, right, Andy?
Yeah.
Where I was essentially spot on for everything in this round,
including scores, and it was impressive. Very impressive.
Scores were even more miraculous because going through it here, I actually got the only games score-wise that I really got wrong was I said France was going to annihilate Nigeria, and I had Argentina annihilating Switzerland. I got all the games that got to extra time except for Argentina picked correctly that they were going extra time. So
pretty damn good.
Germany on PKs for me. I think we have the classic 1 goal each in extra time.
Ooh. Thriller.
Oh yeah.
The forced PKs. Colombia, Brazil. That's a 4:00 Eastern, 3 p.m. Central game. The hosts Brazil.
Real quickly, breaking news: Oklahoma announces addition of wide receiver Dorial Green-Beckham.
Well, that's what is that? A financial aid agreement? That's what it said.
Just got
he signed an agreement to financial aid.
Well, okay. No, I got that. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that's going to work. He will not be eligible for 2014, so he's going to have to sit out a year.
Yeah.
So that's a big get for Oklahoma.
Bob Stoops has. Oh wait, no, Dorial Green-Beckham has spoke to it.
No, yeah, that's a done deal.
Stoops says we are pleased to welcome Dorial Green-Beckham to the University of Oklahoma, where he is excited to continue his education and resume his playing career. Wow.
I thought you said Stoops was on vacation somewhere.
Well, let's put it this way: he can't play 2014. He'll be eligible 2015. That pushes his draft stock back a year. I'm kind of surprised that he's going to a big time place not immediately go into the draft.
Yeah.
So all right, well, we'll talk about that at a later time. But let's move along, sticking with the World Cup. Brazil, Colombia, Mr. Humphrey, who do you have and why?
I got Brazil.
Seems like you struggled with that one.
In PKs.
So you have Brazil becoming the first team in forever to win back-to-back PKs.
Yep. I do.
Okay. Joe?
This is going to be the best game of the Cup. I'm going with Brazil just based off more proven talent and a little more solidified back four.
This game, for me, has FIFA fixing the result written all over it. But with that said, I think Colombia is vastly superior at the moment.
Yeah.
Unless if Julio Cesar can stand on his head again, I just don't see how Brazil can win. I just don't. I think Colombia is much better at this moment.
Oh, come on. Don't doubt Major League Soccer's Julio Cesar.
By the way, Andy, I may be going to a U.S. Open Cup game on Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Yes, the Philadelphia Union and the New England Revolution.
Oh, there you go.
There
will literally be maybe, 500 people there? The U.S. Open Cup games are so bad in attendance.
Why are they so terrible in attendance?
Well, because they don't get enough time to sell them.
Well, there's plenty of great seats available for $20, so
yeah,
there is a good chance that I will be going actually with Big Three host Tyler Griever on Tuesday night.
That is good. That's a good, and that's where is that in?
That being Chester, PA. That's at Philadelphia.
Oh man, I want to go to that stadium so bad. You've got the Delaware River in the backdrop there. Oh man, it's beautiful.
Got the potential to be shot after the game.
Oh yeah.
There's a chance that I will be going to that. I'll also be playing in a poker tournament on Monday, so that will be interesting.
There you go.
But I have Colombia. I have Colombia, Germany. Mr. Leyland has France and Brazil, which will be a rematch of the quarters in 2006, where France shocked Brazil then 1-0. And Andy's got Brazil and Germany as the two favorites squaring off in the semifinals, as many of us predicted before the tournament. Let's go to the right side of the bracket. The Cinderella team of this tournament, Costa Rica, taking on the Dutch, who escaped Mexico. You could use the word escaped in any way you want, but that's what they did against Mexico with the questionable call in the box after the late goal that tied it up from Mr. Schneider. And then, Andy, how do I pronounce the guy's name who scored the penalty?
Huthar.
Thank you. After Robin drew the penalty. Andy, if Costa Rica is gonna continue their magical run, what are they gonna have to do to beat the Dutch?
Don't make any miscues in the midfield, because if you get the Dutch on the break, you're done, basically. So many of their goals have come off of counterattacks. I think in this World Cup, they killed Spain in that. After a lot of miscues by them in that first game, and they've got so many skilled players that'll just run up and down and just never stop. So
losing De Jong is a huge miss for the Dutch, though. I don't think it'll affect them in this game as much.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, it is a huge blow, but they've got better replacements than Costa Rica would have if they lost one of their best players.
That's true. Oh yeah, so, for me, this game I have this marked down as 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, something in a blowout fashion. But if the Dutch were to play Argentina or Belgium in the following round, that's when De Jong's injury is going to be proved massive.
Yep.
I don't see how Costa Rica is going to give up that many goals, Joe. Costa Rica's defense has been spectacular in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The goal they gave up against Greece, they were 10 men for a long time, and it was still kind of a fluky play off of the rebound. They gave up nothing against Italy. They were unbelievable against Balotelli and Pirlo. The England game, I don't count because that was a game where Costa Rica was clearly playing for a 0-0 draw. And then Uruguay, they just kicked the crap out of Uruguay. I know Suarez did not play, but they really took it to Uruguay in that match. I think this is going to be a close game. I still think the Dutch win, but I think Costa Rica is going to hang. They're going to hang. It's going to be a heartbreaker late. I think it'll be like 1-0 and with a goal in the 84th minute or something like that. I think the Dutch are really going to struggle. I think this is going to be kind of like, if you guys remember from the last World Cup, when Spain, in the quarterfinals against Paraguay, who was a vastly inferior squad to the Spanish, but Spain needed a goal late. I forget who scored that goal to advance to the semis.
Puyol scored.
That was the one in the that was the semis. Yeah,
semis against Germany.
Puyol was early against Germany.
Yeah.
No, Puyol wasn't it still late though?
That was pretty late by Puyol in that.
It was
earlier, I think.
It's on a quarter, yeah.
I don't remember. I'm gonna look that up right now.
I'm looking it up right now. Carry on with your point.
But I think the Dutch win 1-0, 1-0, I should say, late, very late.
Yeah. The Dutch will be a little flustered by it, but they'll definitely come on top, and the run for for Florida Gulf Costa Rica will be over.
Yeah, I also
there you go.
Part of the 3-0 of mine is maybe I'm just being stubborn, but I feel like Costa Rica's just gotten unbelievably lucky in this tournament.
How many of us thought that the last CONCACAF team to be left in this tournament would be Costa Rica?
I am still utterly shocked that they were the team. They're still in. Not in one scenario. If I've laid out 100 scenarios trying to get a perfect bracket, I don't think I'd ever had them still. And David Villa scored it in the 82nd against Paraguay.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was late. Julio was in the 73rd against Germany, so they were both late. But David Villa was very late. That was a 4th of July weekend game. I remember watching that out on the island. But it's for me with the way that Costa Rica has played in this tournament. If you just did a blind watch, as Joe was saying before, and you take all of the games everyone has played, for me, Costa Rica has to slide into the top 5 of the 8 left. For me, they've looked better than Argentina has this entire tournament. They've looked sharper than Germany has in select spots. Brazil, just again, them being the host, I still think Brazil hasn't looked overly great in this tournament. But Costa Rica has looked better than Argentina for me in this tournament so far.
The reason why I struggle to see that, with the exception of maybe Joe Campbell once or twice, it's kind of like the things with the Americans. It's, you just don't have that individual creativity. The reason why Colombia has looked fantastic, I think, is not only has their defense, but they've had these iconic plays. Whereas Costa Rica, they've played great defensively, but it's kind of hard to watch them and see if they go down 1-0. I'm going to have very little faith for them to ever come back. They've not... Other than the first game, they were losing in the first game, but they played with the lead the last couple games, or were playing for draws. So, if Robin or Van Persie has a strike of greatness in the first 20 minutes, how are they going to rebound? Is my question.
Oh, I think the Dutch win 1-0 late. I don't know, Joe. I don't know how they would rebound. Let's go down to the final quarterfinal. Excuse me. The bottom right, the Belgians and the Argentina. Belgium, we just saw get Tim Howarded for the first 90 plus, and then they finally had 2 breakthroughs in the first extra. Would that technically be the extra time session, Andy Humphrey?
That would be the extra time. First period of extra time.
Okay, so the first period of extra time. I got yelled at by someone on Twitter for calling it the first extra time session the other day.
Oh.
For me, I think the Belgians are going to whip Argentina.
Really?
I think they're going to whip them.
I've got Argentina.
What do you think? Messi in the end is too much, Andy?
This is Messi's World Cup. This is still Messi's World Cup. I've got Argentina winning this whole thing.
These 2 teams are the most puzzling teams of the World Cup thus far. We don't really know what we have with either team. Both had very easy group stages, but won every game. Both played against a team that had, I would say, significantly less talent in the group stage. Both won in extra time. So do they just know how to win a game? Have they been lucky? I really don't know about either of these teams.
Well, I'll say this. I think Belgium, we can't argue. Belgium was dominant against the U.S.
Yeah.
They were dominant. If they were playing any other goalie in the world just about on that day, they would win that game 2-0, 3-0 in regulation.
Yeah.
I really do believe that. Andy, do you agree with me on that?
Yeah.
Argentina, for me, I know the Swiss are highly rated. The Swiss were one of the worst teams left in the field to make it out of the group stage.
Really?
It just doesn't make sense to me that they were ranked. What were they going in the World Cup? 5?
They were overranked. I agree with that, but I mean, I think the Swiss team would serve well against the American team. I think.
Well, I'm not comparing them to the Americans, Joe. I'm talking about. I think when Andy and I did our power rankings, I had the Swiss at 14, of the 16 remaining teams, with only the Greeks and Nigeria behind them. But I don't know. And Switzerland actually outplayed. I thought they outplayed Argentina for the bulk of that match.
I thought it was pretty even. I thought it was fairly even. We just say Switzerland does because they're the underdog.
So I think the Belgians are winning this match 2-0 against Argentina. And the one thing, obviously, as Andy said, if Messi goes off, Argentina is going to win this match and then probably win the whole tournament.
Yeah.
I think he's due. I think Argentina has been in every single one of their games so far, and if they're tied, down one, or just on the brink of breaking through, they always do so. It doesn't matter how weak the team is or how good the team is; they're going to find their way against them.
And that's exactly what Belgium's done. That's what's going to make this game so unique. They both have had a ton more talent than any other team they've played, and they've come in with 1-goal victories every time. So it's just kind of tough to say. I'm going with Argentina as well, just because I trust the South American aspect with adding the best player in the world right now. And I think Di Maria played great last game as well, and he's so dangerous on the wing. And their defense has been a little better than people expected. So give me Argentina, 2-1.
We're going to come back and make our picks later on as well, but if you look at this, I would say, with the brackets we all have, let's just go through it and pick at this stage who do we have winning it all. Andy, you're going with Argentina?
Uh-huh. Over Germany.
Joe?
Brazil over the Dutch. Dutch will go out in the finals both 2 times in a row.
I'm going off the board. As I've told Andy for the past 2 weeks what I'm doing once it was obvious what was going to happen near the knockout stage. Andy, you want to fancy the guess of where I'm going here?
Colombia over Costa Rica.
No, I'm not. Come on, that's too insane. Give me the Dutch over Colombia.
Can't hear you.
You got me, Joe?
Now I got you.
Colombia will lose to the Dutch. So I have the Netherlands getting revenge for 2010 and winning it all.
If this World Cup was being played in Europe, I think France would be winning it all.
Well, if I correct, Andy, that a UEFA team has never won in the Western Hemisphere.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this would be a first. I also think if we're going to see something, if Brazil wins this quarterfinal against Colombia, they're going to win the tournament.
I agree.
Because it's starting to look kind of like Duke in 2010 now with Brazil.
Gotcha.
So let's move on, Andy. What do we have next?
Oh, did you talk about the American side at all? What about the American side?
Do we want to talk about the Americans at all?
Okay.
All right, Andy, go ahead. Give us the reaction to the U.S. is in this tournament, ends up at 1-1-2, winning their first match against Ghana, drawing in heartbreaking fashion against Portugal, losing to Germany 1-0 in what felt like a win, even though it was a loss, and then obviously falling yesterday to Belgium. Or was that was 2 days ago actually already against Belgium. They fell 2-1 in extra time. Andy, looking forward with the U.S., what can they grow upon here other than really they just need more talent?
They do. They really are starting to lose some of their guys. I mean, I'll say this. I don't think goalkeeping is going to be an issue. Even with Tim Howard, there are quite a few countries in this World Cup that would have wanted Brad Guzan as their starter. So I think even if Tim Howard isn't at the same kind of skill level that he was in this World Cup at 39 years old in 2018, Brad Guzan's still going to be phenomenal As far as the other positions, you hope that Julian Green works out. You hope that experiment is, gonna go through. I'll say this: the young guys that were picked for this tournament, I bashed them beforehand for, I bashed Klinsmann for including them, but they were spectacular. John Brooks, I didn't think he was supposed to be there. Julian Green, I didn't think he was supposed to be there. So
Klinsmann was amazing this tournament.
Oh, Klinsmann. Klinsmann is the reason why we made it out of the group of death. Klinsmann's the sole reason for that.
I actually have a little more cynical take on this World Cup because I think, just looking out, we got outplayed 3 of the 4 games. Yes, we found a way, and that's part of it, and that was mainly Klinsmann's motivation, and it was a step in the right direction for American soccer, but I just don't get what's going to be different in 4 years. We're probably going to have the same guys that work their tails off and represent the country with pride, and it's fantastic what they do. But I just wonder what the ceiling is with this, because everybody's talking about how soccer is going to become this more elusive sport that people are going to want to play now, but I'm not going to see these big-time athletes. You're not going to see a Calvin Johnson in goal. You're not going to see LeBron playing a striker. You're never going to see that in America, and that's the one reason I have a little more cynical. This 2014 World Cup for America was a success, but I do.
Well, I think the thing that United States soccer is missing is exactly what you're alluding to, Joe, is like a Michael Jordan-esque figure that just dominates either in Europe or in a World Cup or in any other major soccer league.
Yeah.
So we're missing that. I think if Jurgen sticks around, there's always a chance for brilliance. Jurgen has to stay. I mean, we had optimism about Bob Bradley after the last World Cup, and that kind of fizzled out after the Gold Cup. Jurgen Klinsmann's not going to lose a Gold Cup, I don't think, anymore.
That's the thing. I just don't.
Save the fact that barring another great performance from Costa Rica, or Mexico getting our number again, there's no excuse for us anymore to lose any more Gold Cups.
Gold Cup's in America this year.
Gold Cup is in America.
Isn't the Gold Cup usually in the U.S. at this point? It's either there or Mexico.
I think it pretty much is.
I think
it was last year. Gold Cup was here last year.
Yeah, where have they even announced where the sites are for that?
Sure.
Oh, I'm not sure. That's in 2015. So this 2015 one actually means something, at least for a little bit. If you win it, you go to Confederations Cup, which is another meaningless tournament. I
actually kind of like the Confederations Cup.
Oh, okay. It's basically a mini World Cup. Who was it last year that made it in? Tunisia. Tunisia was in the Confederations.
No, Tahiti.
Oh, Tahiti. That's right. Okay.
Tahiti. Who got beat? Who gave up 31 goals in 3 matches? Pretty much.
Oh yeah, that's right. Who did they get beat by? Like 9-0.
Spain beat them 10-1.
They beat them 10-1. Okay.
Yeah, no. Also, by the way, quick funny thing here. Guess who's automatically in this Gold Cup?
Who?
The Americans.
Because they're hosting.
Yes.
And because they won last year.
The Mexicans.
Yeah.
And the Canadians.
Canadians.
Okay.
They are the only.
Canada, eh?
They are the automatic qualifiers of the tournament. How Canada is an automatic qualifier, I do not know.
Why not, eh?
Yeah, but they can't play soccer.
Their women can play soccer.
Yes, actually, next year.
Their women are a good soccer team.
Next year, we should actually make a pilgrimage up to the 2015 World Cup, which is in Canada next year.
Is it really?
Yes.
It's in Canada. Yes, we do need to go up to. I'm making a return trip to Winnipeg.
Actually, I got to see where the sites are. I think they are having games in Winnipeg. I know the championship is in Vancouver. If it is, Andy, we should 100% go.
Oh yeah.
Drag Leyland along with us. He can
definitely.
He can have some fun there. Here you go, Andy. There are 6 sites for the Women's World Cup. They are playing games in Olympic Stadium in Montreal.
There we go.
So the UP will make his triumphant return to Olympic Stadium. They are playing in Edmonton. They are playing in Vancouver. They are playing in Winnipeg. They are playing in Ottawa, and they are playing in Moncton. They are not playing in Toronto.
Interesting.
Why, I don't know.
That is interesting.
All I know is the World Cup draw is in the Canadian Museum of Nature in December.
Canadian Museum of Nature.
Oh my God! Only Canada can come up with some. Only Canada could come up with some crap like that.
There's some igloos, and some more trees. Did I tell you guys that everyone I met in Canada was delightful?
Well, yes, they're very nice people.
They are great. They are wonderful people.
They are great. They are great people.
They are great.
How's the bacon?
How's the bacon?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't try the bacon.
What?
I didn't try the bacon.
It's just back bacon.
I was only there for 2.5 days.
Hey, I will say this, Andy. I will be in Toronto in about 2 weeks from now, so I will. Actually, I gotta bring some maple syrup back into the country.
Mm-hmm.
Bring some of that. Bring some Labatt Blue.
Yeah.
But I don't think did. I even give my take on the Americans here?
Yeah, no.
No, I didn't. Guzan, I'll say this. To replace Howard, can we agree that Tim Howard's the greatest goalie in the history of American soccer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think 100%.
Yeah.
He has to be, right, Andy?
I'm debating between him and Casey Keller.
Yeah, those are the only two I can think of. No Tony Meoli back then.
Yeah.
As much as we love Mr. Meoli and his great time with the Kansas City Wizards back in the day.
Yeah.
The Kansas City should go back to being the Kansas City Wizards. That's more fun.
They should.
Agreed.
Have any of y'all watched Keith Olbermann's 7 Ways to Improve American Soccer?
Oh no! What did he say?
Well, you need to watch it because there's quite a few of these things that need to happen. It's like stop using the English terms like pitch or nil. Just make it American, and get rid of the stupid names like Real Salt Lake.
Well, that is ridiculous. Real Salt Lake.
That is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Just name it. San Jose Earthquakes is perfect.
Yes, that's fine.
LA Galaxy is perfect. FC Dallas, go away. But don't name it Dallas Burn again. Just do not name it Dallas Burn.
I don't mind FC Dallas as much as Real. Real's much worse than FC.
Real Salt Lake. Sporting Kansas City. Yeah.
Well, that's better than the others, though.
No, but don't make this Don't make this just all about making it like the English kind of stuff.
What you call it? The Canadian teams should have names. All of them.
The Canadian teams do have names.
Isn't Toronto FC.
But there's Vancouver Whitecaps.
The Montreal Impact.
And the Montreal Impact.
They should put a team in Winnipeg.
No.
Well, you've been there, Andy. You can tell us all about Winnipeg.
I can tell you about downtown Winnipeg. That's it. I can tell you about the Winnipeg Goldeyes.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
Which apparently are a very popular thing around Winnipeg. The American Association's very own Winnipeg Goldeyes.
Almost as good as the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, the Winnipeg Jets. I was right next to their stadium in my hotel.
What is that? The MB Center?
That is the what's it called?
I think that's it.
Is it the Rogers Center? I don't know.
No, the MP. Well, I was wrong. The MP Center is in a. What is that? MTS Center?
MTS Center. Yep.
Is that it? Yeah.
I think so. MTS.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Smallest capacity in professional sports, only 15,000 people.
Oh wow.
But back to my. We are getting sidetracked as usual. It means we're back if we're getting sidetracked.
Yeah.
The talent's the big thing. As Andy said earlier, they need a Michael Jordan of soccer. Yes. And this is why, for me, I think Landon Donovan's going to get overrated all time.
By Americans, of course.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because he was not... Andy, is it fair to say that Landon Donovan was an average top-flight player in the Premier League?
No.
Not even, right?
In the Premier League?
No.
Not
he
even,
was awful
right?
in the Premier League.
Exactly. That's like so the Americans' best player was mediocre at best in the best league in the world.
I actually think
but there's other American players that have played well in the Premier League.
I think the two best American players I can say that are not goalkeepers, I'd put Dempsey and Brian McBride.
Well, Dempsey, I know. Dempsey held his own over there.
Yeah.
Timmy Howard, obviously. Timmy Howard.
I mean, look at Fulham now. They're no longer in the Premier League. They just got relegated because they lost Dempsey.
Yeah, so listen.
And Tottenham's Tottenham, but
when you look back at this era of U.S. soccer, people are going to remember Landon Donovan as being the Americans' best player. For me, Clint Dempsey, after seeing this World Cup with Clint Dempsey again, I think proved the point that Dempsey really has been the best player in this era for the American soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, Clint Dempsey, for me, isn't going to attract enough interest for the sport in the U.S. I know he's on the Sounders now. I know that. But you still need that big American star. Can Julian Green be it? Probably not.
And the one thing is, that I am very pessimistic about, if Julian Green becomes this world-class player, who's going to say he's not going to just go play for the Germans in 4 years? That's one thing
he's still playing for the Germans. Well, he made a one-time switch.
Yeah, so I just keep in the back of your mind.
He can't go back to Germany, can he?
No,
it's a one-time switch.
No, once you declare, you can't go back.
Really? I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure about that.
Well, you can declare, but then you can switch one time. Did Green declare Germany first and then switch?
To be honest, I do not know.
I have no idea.
You can make one switch. That's it.
You should be able to make no switches.
Well, yeah.
One other thing I will say, DeAndre Yedlin, well, he did, well, Julian Green's perfectly split. Played for Germany as an under-16 and under-17, played for the U.S. as an under-18, played for Germany as the under-19, and then played for the U.S. in 2014 in the senior league.
So he could still play for the German senior squad.
I have no idea.
Just a little nugget to keep in the back.
Here's the thing: he can still dominate at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Julian Green should stay with the U.S. Honestly, he's
going
to be.
He should.
He's going to be the best player on the team probably in 4 years.
Yeah,
is that fair? Is that fair, Andy?
I think Michael Bradley needs to be there.
Dwayne Wade could go to the Pistons and be the best player there, or he could play for the Heat and win some rings.
You're comparing apples and oranges, man.
Oh, man.
And
that's just your club, though. That's about getting paid. This is about playing for your country.
Oh, no, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. We still don't know if he can.
I will say this also of the young guys. Yedlin, Andy, I know you had problems with Yedlin getting selected.
No, I was okay with Yedlin. I was okay with that. I mean, his position wasn't very deep, so I was okay with the Yedlin selection because he's versatile.
Yedlin for me was after Johnson went out, I thought the U.S. was really going to run into some problems. Yes, they did. Obviously, Belgium, as we said, was definitely the better side. But I thought Yedlin really looked very good most of this World Cup when he played.
To an extent. Because here's the problem. Yedlin was playing right back. And he was getting forward way too much and allowing Belgium to get back on the break.
No, Yedlin didn't play.
He was leaving Omar Gonzalez out to dry right next to him.
Yedlin didn't play in the back four, though.
Well, against Belgium, yeah, he did.
No, because Fabian Johnson started up.
No, Fabian Johnson was at right back?
No, the back four was Beasley, Beasler, and then you had Omar Gonzalez in the middle, and then Cameron on the right.
No, Cameron was playing defense. Joe, I think you're wrong here. I think because Cameron played mid. Cameron played mid.
And then Fabian Johnson was at right back. Now, Yedlin came in to play right back in this World Cup. Or against Germany.
Belgium,
yeah. Came in to play right back against Belgium. Got forward, left his center backs out to dry when, they had to go back and cover Romelu Lukaku and Hazard. All that, and, it wasn't good.
I'll say this, Andy. For me, actually, what point was I about to make? I don't even know what point I was about to make. I'll scratch that.
Real quickly, side note. I think 4 years from now, our best player is going to be Fabian Johnson. I fell in love with his game over this World Cup. He is the one player that I actually think is explosive and is a playmaker. That could do very well, could be, but he's so young. But I was very impressed by Fabian.
Hey, Andy, remember when you said we couldn't fit an hour in?
Oh, wow, there you go. I'm at 14% battery.
We're already at about 50 minutes into this program. All right, let's quickly, because we'll go probably another 10, 15 minutes max here before everyone goes on their merry way here. Let's look at NBA free agency real quickly. Obviously, the big three out of Miami opted out. Carmelo's a free agent. Andy, do your Rockets end up with any of them?
Here's what I think, though. The fact that the Rockets put up a poster of Carmelo Anthony in a Rockets jersey tells them they got him right in their back pocket.
So what does that mean?
Right in their back pocket. You think Daryl Morey would let that happen if he didn't know absolutely for certain that he was going to get a guy?
That doesn't mean anything.
Andy, I think
the same thing.
I think there are huge connotations to that. You kick off. You put him in the number 7, the number that Jeremy Lin's wearing right now.
Lin's gone regardless.
Lin's going to be gone.
Nobody wants that contract though. But Andy will disagree with me. Jeff, you'll probably agree with me. Will there be a more annoying big three of James Harden, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwight Howard?
I wouldn't go annoying is the right word. I would go with
I don't know. I'm irritated by every one of those players' games.
Here's what I'll say. Carmelo, the problem is the thing is I forget who said.
They give up 110 points a game.
I was just getting.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would rather have LeBron James than Carmelo Anthony.
Well, no kidding.
Yes. That's
obvious.
I would want somebody that plays defense.
Now here's what I'll say. For me, I think the big three all ends up back in Miami. I don't think there's much of a debate on that. I just don't see where LeBron would go. That's one. For me, if Carmelo went to Houston, I don't the experiment that the Rockets D-League team did, taking 43 pointers a game, would have to move to the NBA. For me, it would have to. They would have, for me, Dwight would only be able to play about 28, 30 minutes a game, and you'd have to go small, and you just have to have guys in the perimeter chucking threes.
It's a lot of talent, but it's just I just don't think it would.
It's a bad mix. I agree.
I think you're too overloaded offensively, and all of a sudden you're not going to be able to have that balance.
A whole lot better, but it kind of reminds you of like a Detroit team with like Jennings and Smith and just kind of all the same
No,
thing.
not that bad. Not that bad, because those guys aren't that good, Joe.
They'd be a whole lot better than that, but it just kind of reminds me of that mix.
It was almost as good as when Josh Smith almost got traded to Sacramento a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Kings had a front court of Rudy Gay, Josh Smith, and DeMarcus Cousins.
That'd be the most Sacramento lineup of all time.
Well, then all they have to do is get Jimmer back, and they'd be perfect.
Yeah.
No, then you get Francisco Garcia back. Him and Jason Thompson.
There you go. Perfect. But I'll say this. I think when it's all said and done, I think Carmelo's going to Houston. I think it's going to happen. Yes. I just don't see him going to Chicago. I just don't.
Perfect fit.
I wouldn't go to these perfect fit. Yes, they finally got rid of Carlos Boozer about 3 years too late.
Yeah.
But I think when it's all said and done, I think Houston maneuvers it that the Rockets get their big three. They have to get a new coach in order to win a championship with that trio. I think that trio actually, as stunning as this may sound, I think that trio is capable of winning it. I really do. Not right away. Not right away, because the first year with McHale, they will play games every night that are 125 to 119. And you just can't win it all like that. Get them a real point guard and get them a good backup big for Dwight, which they don't have anymore.
If they go after Carmelo and they pick up a huge contract for him,
where
leave no room for any sort of depth players.
You're gonna have to hope that Montezumas turns into a good player.
Exactly, and that's really a tough proposition to make.
Montezumas
has been, a liability defensively. I think I'm gonna go get my
whole
charger
team
real
except
quick.
for Dwight's been a liability defensively.
Oh, Dwight's been all right defensively, and Ashik has,
No, I said the whole team other than Dwight.
Whole team other than Dwight. Well, Beverly.
Yeah, well, Beverly's not going to be on. Well, Beverly's going to have to be on the team because they need a point guard.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, you could have. They drafted Nick Johnson.
I like that pick. That was a great pick. But real quickly, is it crazy for me if I was Morey? I would just not pick up Melo. I'd be perfectly content with Parsons. I'd kind of do what Golden State's doing. Is Melo's awesome and he's great, but there's a certain element of chemistry that you need on a team, and Melo's not helping that.
For me, I don't like Parsons that much, honestly.
Okay, that could be our rift because I'm a huge Parsons fan.
Parsons this past postseason was dreadful.
He was very disappointing there.
He was dreadful. In order for Houston to take the next step, they got to improve the defense. I don't think it's even if Carmelo goes there, I don't know if that's going to be possible.
Andy, it's up to you. You get two scenarios laid out. You get Carmelo at the max, or you get Parsons at, let's say, 10 a year. Andy?
Huh?
All right, you get two scenarios. It's laid out. You get Carmelo at a max deal, or you get Parsons at 10 mil a year. Which route are you taking?
Well, the Rockets will find a way to get both of them.
They're not getting Melo, Parsons, Harden, and...
They will find a way to do that. That is their plan.
Yeah, and where's this money going to come from?
So hold on. If that's the case, then, Andy, give me So their starting five will be Beverly, Harden, Parsons, Carmelo, and Howard with no bench. Am I correct on that?
I just don't see how
that's why I question this move.
Carmelo's not taking a pay cut, so I don't get how they re-sign Parsons then. Because somebody's going to sign him to
Parsons, they can give more money because he's their own guy.
Yeah, but you can't give Carmelo this much money and then give Parsons an extension too. Do they have the cap room for that? I wouldn't imagine so.
I have no idea what their cap is.
I don't know how that would happen, but
interesting.
You get rid of that Lynn contract, it's definitely going to open up.
Well, I still think Lynn's going to end up back on the Knicks. I think that will happen at some point.
Mm-hmm.
No chance. One actually interesting thing that could happen to Houston, I feel if for some reason the big three gets split up, I don't think it happens, I could see Bosch landing there.
I see Bosh more as a Laker.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Just a little nugget.
I don't know. I'll say this. When this all free agency is all said and done, I think it's going to be a lot tamer than all of us expect it to be.
I think Melo's the only big name that moves a team.
Yeah.
And maybe Love, but he's a trade, so it doesn't totally count.
Yeah. I don't know where Love would go at this point. I don't know.
I think
don't know where he'd end up in a trade.
I think Golden State might be trying to bluff them. They say.
Well, actually, I'm going to ask you this: would you have done the trade that they proposed earlier?
This is my thought process with the trade. I personally would have said yes if I was the general manager, but I'm perfectly fine with them saying, you know what, let's build this core around. Lots of these teams are jumping to build these big threes, and it's only been a success really when you have the best player, and they're not getting LeBron. So win like a team, like how Dallas and San Antonio have won. They won with chemistry and having the purple flaw. I would have said yes, but I'm fine with them saying no. I have no problem with that. It just, the one problem is the Warriors are probably going to have to sign Klay Thompson to a max deal then. That's the one trade-off.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's the one notion that I'm iffy on. But if they're bluffing and they trade Draymond Green, Harrison Barnes, and David Lee, maybe a pick for Kevin Martin and Kevin Love, then you're looking at the second or third best team in the West in my mind.
I don't think Kevin Martin's that big of a dump off from Klay Thompson, honestly.
The one unique thing that Kevin Martin would bring is he gets to the line most efficient out of almost anybody in the NBA, especially for his respective talent. Warriors struggled to get to the line, so he's going to be able to put in probably 6 to 8 easy free throws a game. That's one aspect that I kind of would like him. And he can shoot the rock. He'll fit into the Kerr system.
What is that Kerr system, Joe?
Yeah, what's the Kerr system? Is it similar as Mark Jackson?
You know, they got Kerr by, you know what, they have Jerry West up top making all the moves. The first legendary jump shooter of all time. Steve Kerr has this many rings because of his jump shot, and now Steph Curry is the best jump shooter in the NBA, and you have Klay Thompson, who's arguably the best shooting guard in the NBA. So I think we're going to have something to do with the three-point ball still. Just bold prediction there.
Andy, did that answer anything?
I don't know.
We're going to shoot the rock. We're going to shoot the rock. That's all that matters.
Well, that is imperable to winning is shooting and scoring. That is how you
do need to score the basketball in order to win. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, you need to score. Let's go probably another 10 minutes here. Go an hour 15 for our viewers at home.
Yeah, but can I bring up 2 deals real quickly that I just...
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
Both with Cleveland. One, I'm not giving Kyrie a max deal. I don't like Kyrie at all.
You're insane.
Yeah, you are.
So hold on. So if you're not giving Kyrie Irving a max deal, you're sure as hell not giving Gordon Hayward a max deal.
That's the one that I am just utterly baffled with. Why don't you throw a max deal on Parsons in the if you're going to do that? I'd much rather have Parsons than Hayward.
I like Gordon Hayward personally. He's not worth the max.
No, he's not worth a max deal.
I like Gordon Hayward, but what is he more than like a Wesley Matthews?
Oh, he's much better than Wes Matthews is.
I don't know. I'm not allowed to.
Say so.
But just really quickly, back to Kyrie Irving.
Pretty similar.
Back to Kyrie Irving. Him getting paid in Cleveland at a young age, I just think is a bad formula. If
Kyrie Irving is going to be.
But you need him to win if you're going to want to win there.
Then that's fine. But let's put it this way. I think it's more bad for Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie Irving.
Why? Because he has to stay in Cleveland?
And his career is going to die there. I really just have very little faith in that. I understand why he takes that much money. That's fair enough. But very pessimistic about his future. Because what are the Cavs doing? I just don't get what they do. Their management is, as Bill Simmons says, the most incompetent team in the last 3 years.
I think Cleveland will be in the playoffs this year.
You got Cleveland. You've got Kyrie Irving. You've now got Wiggins.
They have to get rid of Deion Waiters.
Yeah.
I also would. We haven't talked since the draft. I also would have picked Jabari first or Embiid.
I don't have a problem with Wiggins ahead of Jabari. He's
I
better.
had a problem with Wiggins. I wasn't a big fan of that. I would have picked Wiggins third in this draft.
I would have still taken Embiid 1 even though he's out, personally.
Yeah, that's just me not knowing enough about the injury scenario.
And if I were picking between Wiggins and Parker, I would have just done a coin flip, personally. They're both, to me, I don't know if either of them is ever going to be a star. For me, as I said this earlier, I said this during the draft, when everything's all said and done, it's going to be, for me, the top 3 guys from the draft in some order are going to be Embiid, either Parker or Wiggins, and Aaron Gordon when it's all said and done.
I'm with you.
I think Aaron Gordon may very well be the best of all of them.
I would not be shocked whatsoever.
Well, you're not going to go with Shabazz with the Heat?
Shabazz is a under the radar rookie of the year pick for this year, though.
Oh yeah.
Under the radar, absolutely.
Very under the radar.
Oh yeah.
He could win the award. Why not?
Of course not.
You think LeBron's gonna have the rookie of the year on his team now?
Why not?
Why not?
Because LeBron has the ball 80% of the game.
I think but
and Shabazz is a good jump shooter, but
Joe, when we get back to Columbia, we'll figure out a wager. If Shabazz somehow wins the Rookie of the Year, that's no risk for me, but high risk for you.
I'd put like a top 3 or top 5 finish on it.
I don't know. Who cares about top 5 finishes in the Rookie of the Year?
I don't think he's a top 5 rookie this year. I love Shabazz, but it's not gonna happen. I thought
I'll say this though. One thing about the Heat, just really random here. I think they would have been in much better shape if mid-season they traded Mario Chalmers.
Well, Chalmers is gone regardless, though, Andy.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's gone now, but they should have at least gotten something for him.
I don't know how much you could get for Chalmers.
Yeah, I
could have gotten at least a draft pick at the trade deadline.
Yeah, but what does that
player to have under contract? But here's the thing: what's he gonna? You're just gonna let him walk? That was really all that was gonna do. She should have at least walk where he could, finish his career or finish his contract somewhere else.
The Chalmers, the way he just decreased his production in the playoffs was actually kind of surprising for me, though. Like 6 months ago, I thought
it wasn't for me.
He was a good player in the finals last year, and he was hitting big shots. I've never thought he was their biggest problem. He was terrible in the finals this year, so everybody's kind of bagging on him. But I mean, he was a starting point guard for a championship team. That's something.
I never was a fan of him at all.
Fair enough.
For other reasons other than Heat related.
Yeah.
So.
The other picks I really liked. I like Marcus Smart going to Boston, James Young going to Boston. Boston had a great draft.
James Young is an immediate starter. I don't get the Smart pick unless you're going to trade Rondo.
I think James Young has a much better rookie year than Shabazz Napier.
That's fine. Listen, that's fine.
We'll make a wager. If James Young wins the Rookie of the Year, I win something, and if Shabazz wins the Rookie of the Year, you win something.
I'm not taking that because
if something normal happens, then nobody wins.
Yeah, all right, we'll figure that out. Because I actually really like James Young too. I think he's the next. He's hardened with better defensive ability.
Gary Harris also went way too late in this draft.
Nah, he's okay there. I think Gary Harris was undersized guard.
I don't think there's, other than his injuries, there's very few flaws with his game. He's Jabari, James Young, and Gary Harris, and McDermott, I think, are the 4 players that are going to have the easiest transition into the pros.
I think McDermott is going to have a hard transition, actually, Joe.
Really? Because of defense.
Can't defend.
Yeah, I think he's going to. I also think Melo is going to end up going there, so he'll be playing behind Melo.
Oh, great. No, he won't. What are you talking about? They'll start Carmelo and McDermott. They'll have the worst defending 3-4 combo in the history of the league.
Thibodeau's going to do that, yeah.
Well, they do have Taj, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be, if they get Rose,
I mean, if their defense is if their defense is 3/4 of what it was last year, I mean, you add Melo, that's a good playoff team.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course.
If they add Melo, I think they're the second best team in the NBA. Yeah. They would be my second most likely team to win a championship.
Oh, no way. No way.
Don't say no way. They're either second or third.
No, they're still third in the East.
You think Indiana would be better than that team?
If Stevenson leaves Indiana, yes.
If Stevenson leaves that Indiana team, nobody on that team is going to want to win a game other than David West.
I totally disagree with you on that. I think the part of the reason they fell apart is they had enough of him.
That's different. I think Stevenson goes somewhere and becomes a stud. He was the only one that wanted to win a game in that series.
I think it's just more than he's the only one who acted like a jackass enough to say like that. At least
he showed something. Anyways, I think that you still have to put probably Miami and San Antonio over those two.
Well, assuming LeBron. The one thing that we have not considered, if LeBron leaves Miami,
Chicago.
If LeBron leaves, well, LeBron's not going to Chicago.
That is my dark horse.
If LeBron leaves Miami, none of us have thought about this. What happens to the Eastern Conference? It goes back to 2000, 2001, 2002 levels of horrible.
I don't think he goes to the Western Conference, LeBron.
You have to play out all free agency, wherever Melo goes. If he goes,
but Melo's already in the East, so it's not like he's going to save the East.
Melo goes to Chicago. I think Chicago's a much better team. LeBron goes to the West. You've still got Chicago. You've still got Indiana. So it's basically the same that it was last year.
I also don't think LeBron goes to the Western Conference. He stays in the East. Easier minutes than regular season.
I'm just trying to do this in a way that it would make the East the weakest as possible. Carmelo stays in New York. LeBron. No, I'm just saying. I'm just going with this.
Yeah, in New York.
Stays in New York, and LeBron goes to we'll say Houston as the example, and Andy Humphrey has a party for everybody.
Yes, I would jump out a window in excitement.
So let's say that happened. Then who's the favorite in the East?
Indiana.
Would it really be that big of a stretch to say the Raptors would be the favorite in the Eastern Conference?
Give me Washington.
Yeah, the Wizards are a good one, actually.
Give me Washington.
Who are the Raptors? How are the Raptors improving themselves in this? I
think the Raptors are just.
You're giving more money to Kyle Lowry.
They made a great pick in the draft. They picked a guy.
You're giving more money to Kyle Lowry to give less for other better players.
And Andy, Toronto's draft was so great that they picked a guy who was 2 years away from being 2 years away. Did you see that when Fran Fraschilla said that?
No, I didn't watch the NBA draft.
Neither did I, but I saw the clip the following day that Fran Fraschilla legitimately said the guy they picked is the Brazilian Kevin Durant, but he is 2 years away from being 2 years away from being ready.
Okay, so 2 plus 2 is what?
That'd be 4.
Oh, okay.
No, but back to the original point. Would it be nuts if that was the case, Washington 1, Chicago 2, Indiana 3, Toronto 4?
No, but I still think in that scenario, Wade and Bosh would go back to Miami, and Miami Miami would probably be the third or fourth best team in the Eastern Conference.
I'd put Miami.
Do you think Wade and Bosh stay in Miami if LeBron leaves?
Where would Wade go? That's my question.
Chicago. He would go to Chicago.
Wade would just be a troll and go to Cleveland.
No, you know.
If Wade won a ring in Cleveland, that would be the greatest thing in.
That would be fantastic if Wade.
Here's one for you with Wade. San Antonio.
Yeah, nobody manages minutes better than Popovich.
San Antonio. And Bosh. If Bosh leaves Miami, he's going to the Lakers. I've been saying that for a few weeks now.
I think Houston's in play there as well.
They are, but I would say
if they get LeBron, then they're not getting Bosh.
I was listening to Colin Cowherd today. He also brought up an interesting point. LeBron stays in Miami one more year, sees what Phil Jackson does up in New York. What has Kobe and Jordan not done? They haven't ruled New York. He goes to New York, gives Phil Jackson some time. I think it's extreme, but not impossible. It's not impossible.
I will say this, Joe. I listen to Colin Cowherd a lot. I have his book. I love the guy. He is very, very smart, and I agree with him on a lot of things. That is probably the one thing from Colin Cowherd that I do not understand.
Here's one thing I will tell you, though. Here's one thing that I saw that actually is crazy, but it could happen. A sign and trade that flipped Carmelo to the Lakers for Kobe to go to the Knicks.
That's not happening.
Do you think? You think the Lakers are gonna sign and trade Kobe away?
I wouldn't say. I would say it'd be about a 3% chance of happening, but I wouldn't totally throw it out the window just because Phil's in New York.
And would it shock you if just somehow Kobe went to New York and won the MVP? It wouldn't happen, but just like, what if that happened? That'd be the second greatest thing to ever happen in American sports. The first would be Wade winning a ring in Cleveland.
It would be totally ridiculous if Kobe went to New York and became a star.
Real quickly, I think 20 years from now, Kobe's going to go down as an underrated player. Now with this late craze of Tim Duncan, which is totally deserving, and LeBron kind of taking the second part of his career, I think 20 years from now, Kobe's going to go down as kind of an underrated player. Like, I think he's in the top 5 discussion. Maybe he's not top 5, but he's in the discussion. And I think that with these injuries and kind of this overpaid, he's going to kind of like an ugly breakup. It's kind of looking like that.
Well, he almost had an ugly breakup, 5 years ago?
At least, when he almost got Kyle? Chicago, and then they got Gasol and they won the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kobe's not nearly the quality he was back then is the problem.
All right, guys. We've got probably about 5 minutes or so left here. We've exceeded Andy Humphrey's hour.
Oh, yeah.
As we've gone a solid hour and a half straight here. We will be doing this again at some point next week. I don't know when. Probably
next week.
Next week.
I'll be in KC.
We'll probably do it after the.
Come visit me in Columbia, Hump.
Oh, I can't. I can't transport myself.
I thought you learned how to do that this summer.
No, I have to ride the bus.
You should take the MOEX.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's look at next week. I would assume we'll probably do another Thursday one, which would make it in between the semifinals of the World Cup and the finals.
Mm-hmm.
I will be on my.
Some NBA moves will have been made.
Yeah, I will be probably in northern New Jersey at that point, on my way to Mets Braves on that Thursday night. As a poor soul I am to go to that.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm going is because Bartolo is scheduled to pitch. And the chances of Bartolo actually running the bases, as Joel Laglin was the one who alerted me of Bartolo's double back a few weeks ago.
It was fantastic. I was in Boches with my dad eating a burger, and I saw Bartolo Colon hit a double.
Yes, and you sent me a message right away to Bartolo doubled, and that was during the Brazil game, I believe. It was the opening game of the World Cup. When I was
it was something. Yeah.
I believe that was Brazil and Croatia.
No, it was during the first half of the Mexico-Brazil game.
Okay, so it was Mexico. All right, I knew it was it was a World Cup game of some sort, but I had to scramble on my phone in the bar to find a Bartolo double, and it was as great as it sounded. But Andy, before we go, we got to go over some summer shenanigans that occurred so far. Actually, we'll go with Joe first, since he was stuck in Colombia.
Yeah.
And Andy has the experiences of the American Baseball Association of America.
American Association.
I like my title better.
Okay.
And then I was in Europe for a good 4 weeks. So Joe, and any interesting things in Colombia while we've been gone?
You guys missed Jeff, you called in. We had the yearly anniversary of Andy's soon-to-be co-host show, or I guess now official, Happy Hour, so that was fun. We still got some guys on the station, and I'm sure you guys have heard as well, but we got voted one of the best stations, not college stations, but stations by The Telegraph in the UK.
Saw that.
So that
I saw that as well.
That was a long time bit, but the zoo's doing well. Good old Columbia, just same old. Cam, nothing too special, but we love our campus.
I will say one thing that Mark McDaniel's new program.
Like it a lot.
Now that is a program.
What, his new program?
Yeah, I've gone on a couple times.
Mark McDaniel essentially has a morning, not a morning zoo program, but it's in the afternoon.
It's great. And
it's totally and completely out of control.
Well, it's great to join you on your morning zoo program, my man.
Hey, Hump, has your lung collapsed recently?
No.
I
remember the first time that happened.
How funny was that?
How funny was that?
God. Totally out of control.
I still love a good laugh.
McDaniel's show is 4 to 5 on Thursdays, right? Tuesday, Thursday?
Tuesday, Thursday, 4 to 6, I want to say.
All right, I will be sure to call in today and cause some havoc. I actually called in from Italy. That was not one of my better decisions. They racked up a nice $15 phone bill.
Yeah, there you
go. So Humph, give us your best experience of the of your travels so far.
Being right next to the U.S.-Mexico border at my hotel room, I literally walk out the balcony, and there is the bridge, there is the Rio Grande, and there is Mexico. Right there.
That was awesome.
In Nuevo Laredo, Texas. Right there.
Sure, it's safe.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can. It was like this enclosed little bridge there, and there was a long line of people, and the hotel that I stayed at there was actually really nice. Really nice. It was probably the nicest hotel in Laredo. So.
You told me the name of it. It looked pretty damn nice, though.
Oh yeah, it was like a huge rich guy's like villa. Like I was in the villa of a big Mexican you know those movies with the Mexican drug lord, and they have this big nice house. That's kind of what it felt like. It was awesome. So there was that. There was Winnipeg, and I'll tell you, Winnipeg. It was meeting everybody there. It was everybody had that accent. Everybody did. So, and then, well, other than that, we've been to a bunch of, smaller ghost towns like Wichita and Sioux City. After we go to Kansas City, we'll be going to Sioux Falls in beautiful South Dakota. So. You all know how much we love South Dakota, right?
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, you've been to South Dakota, haven't you?
Can't say I have.
Wait.
Most of the West States, but not. Been to Montana.
Oh, well, that's pretty much the same, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll say the past month I've been in Italy. Been in Rome, been in Florence, been in Venice, Lake Country. I'll tell you this, that country is incredible. Joe was telling me before I left that it was incredible. He was right. He was absolutely right. It really was an incredible place. People were nice. Food was absolutely amazing, except for in Venice. Obviously, I didn't go to the right places as we've lost Joe Leyland.
Uh-oh.
Oh, whoops. Where am I? Here am I. I'll be back one sec. Here we go. Click the wrong button. There we go.
Now waiting on Joe Leyland to re-emerge from the abyss. There is Joe. But I'll say this. I think I'm not lost now, but that country, guys. If anyone is watching, which if anyone's watching, bravo for you for sticking with us for this whole time.
What are you doing with your life?
We have one viewer, so I don't know who that one viewer. I don't know who that one viewer is.
Bauer. I'm calling Bauer.
I don't know how he would have got it.
It's probably Joe Northern. He wanted to join us, but It's not in the club. It's not in the club anymore.
I'll say this. If you have a chance to go anywhere in Europe, go to Italy. That should be your first place. Joe, you said you went there how long ago?
4 years ago.
Where did you end up going? Like, were you just in Rome or
Venice?
Only in Venice.
Yeah, it was because my dad was working this summer in England because he's from Norway, so his boss wanted somebody to go overseas and figured that would be perfect. So we made a couple weekend trips, and one of them was to Venice.
Venice is an interesting place, to say the very least. I spent my birthday there.
I liked it.
Was in a bar as I turned 21 for England and Italy. That was a fun experience.
Yeah.
I survived, so that's all that matters. Rome is really amazing too. Florence is beautiful. Lake Country is beautiful. Andy Humphrey. That's it. Actually, I think what we should do now, if Kyle Norris does not let us go to Maui, because my plan.
For Maui Invitational.
Yes, my plan actually for the Maui Invitational is for Kyle Norris to go through the budget for the next 5 years and send 4 of us. So we will have no budget for the next 4 years after.
Okay.
Doesn't matter for you. Doesn't
we're
matter
gonna be gone anyway. We're gonna be gone.
It doesn't matter for me. I'm gone after this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy has 1 year left. Joe would have to deal with it the longest.
Yeah, I'd have the worst part of that.
But if not, I think Kyle should just pay for a trip for all of us to go to Europe.
Great.
Individually, just Kyle. Kyle only, not the station, just Kyle. So, well, that's been the return of Overtime Live, the podcast. We'll, guys, you will do this again next week?
Sounds like a plan.
Sure.
Man.
We'll do it again next week. We'll actually have the text app up on here. I'll try to figure that out. And everyone, enjoy the World Cup. Enjoy your 4th of July. It's already shocking we're already in July.
Wearing a USA shirt today for a day early, but oh well.
USA?
USA.
Yeah. I had the USA shirt working for the World Cup games. Didn't work the other day, but oh well. But that's been our show. If you have any questions for us, you can contact Andy Humphrey, and only Andy Humphrey.
Thanks.
At Andy R. Humphrey and Twitter. I'm at Pals, the sports guy. Joe Leyland is at Joe. Yours is just at Joe Leyland, isn't it?
You got that correct.
Yeah. So his is the easiest one, other than Andy. You remember. So everyone, have a good 4th of July. Have a good weekend. Have a good whatever else you're doing. Also, we'll be back in Columbia in about 6 weeks. Big 3 debuts on August 22nd. When does your program start, Joe Leyland?
August 24th will be our first program. Right now, also during the summer, I'm doing a show Saturdays 12 to 2 on KCOU, so feel free to tune in anytime for that as well, Summertime Swing. And I'm excited to get the first fall rotational show coming up, too.
That is KCOU.FM around the world, if you are all listening, if you are all wondering. Andy Humphrey, Salute Your Sports, back. Are you guys back on that Saturday?
Yeah, that's Saturday, 12 to 2.
And I'm sure it'll be great. It'll be the debut of Greg Daly. It'll be the debut of just great everything. Really, I think that first week of shows really going to be a lot of humor. Everyone will be fun to be back.
Yeah.
Andy Humphrey turns 21 in December.
Yes, I do. That'll be an interesting Salute Your Sports.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I spent my last birthday on Happy Hour. That was also interesting. I sang a Taylor Swift song.
We heard that the other day.
Yeah, that was an interesting day. I was in a plane that day.
Oh yeah. You were going off to Hotlanta.
I was off to Atlanta, where I should have actually just gone to the Coke Museum when I got the Coca-Cola Museum when I got there. I just didn't think of it.
You didn't stay at the Motel 6, did you?
No, I was off by the airport. I was at the Hyatt Place by the airport.
You go. Good.
That was fun. Oh, well. All right, everyone. For Joe Leyland, Andy Humphrey, this is Jeff Barles. Have a great weekend, 4th of July and everything. We'll be back next week. Just check out our Twitter. And check out either Andy's Twitter, as I said earlier, at Andy R. Humphrey, or Joe's Twitter, at Joe Leyland, or my Twitter, at Pals the Sports Guy, PALSDA Sports Guy on Twitter. Also, guys, the Pals the Sports Guy handle will probably be gone by the end of the summer, so I will be taking new name ideas from everybody.
Why is that going away?
It will have to go away, unfortunately.
For what? Professional reasons?
There will be no explanation on why it goes away.
Oh wow.
Tough breakup.
It will be there will be a fiesta for it, but not really.
Forever missed.
You gotta sign your name, Pals to Sports Guy, on the banner at KCOU up there.
I did though.
You said Pals to Sports Guy?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So it lives on.
It will. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend, viewers. We will be back hopefully next Thursday, same time.
Yep.
All right.